Mahavir. Greatest enlightened master happened on the planet Earth. He is the only master who is able to create a technology or the formula to reproduce not only enlightened beings, to create the purest tradition. Understand, Vedic tradition, or the traditions which are born in India, we can really be proud of one important thing. You can't misunderstand Mahavir. You can't. He has gone to the extreme of great spiritual truths. Not only he expressed in his life, even the teachings which he created are the next generation which he created. In them also he has instilled these great truths in its purest form. Understand? You can't instill that great tradition, great truth in your next generation if you are hypocrite, if you are hypocritical, if you are saying one thing and living in the other way. Because the next generation, the immediate generation, is going to only see you and learn. It is not going to learn from what you are teaching, it is going to learn only from what you are doing. Maybe after 200-300 years, nobody will know what you did. They will learn from your teaching, because only the teachings are recorded and kept. But the first generation is going to learn only what you do. If the first generation people are truthful, honest, spiritual, without violence, that means the master lived a pure life. Master lived beautiful life. Except Mahavir, there is no other master who can boast the beautiful first generation. Means enlightened first generation, who did not fight with themselves. The moment master dies, first thing will happen is fight among the disciples. The problem among the disciples, only Mahavir can boast, there is no fight, there was no trouble, even after he left the body. The first generation was completely enlightened. The reason is he lived that kind of life. One more thing, before entering into any enlightened master's teachings or any great master's teachings, you should analyze to whom it is delivered, for what purpose it is delivered, because you should see the ulterior motive of the teaching. What for those teachings are delivered? He came and he said, I take bath every day in Ganges 3 times and I do all the Sandhya practices. So he started boasting and he claimed that he will achieve the highest moksha, heaven. Vivekananda said, just taking bath in Ganges, you will become God, means then fishes which are in the Ganges, they are the gods and holiest creatures. So I can't say, just taking bath in Ganges will make you holy. The guy was shocked, the traditional Pandit, and he left the place. After a few minutes, one young guy came, graduate from Calcutta University. He said, Swamiji, I heard that you are a very modern person who does not bother about the traditional things like taking bath in Ganga and doing Sandhya and all these kind of things. I really appreciate your teachings, and I am searching a master like you. I also don't like all these traditional things. Vivekananda said, who told you? Every day I take bath in Ganges and I worship Ganga. Who told you? I don't acknowledge all these traditional things. I respect tradition. I live according to tradition. The young man said, oh, is it so? Anyhow, Vivekananda gave few teachings and young man left. Old man also received the teachings which is for him. Young guy, he also received the teaching which is for him. Now the disciple was sitting at the feet and watching both the scenes. He got confused. Just like you all now. He asked, what is this? What are you telling? When that man came, you said different thing. And when this guy came, this young guy came, you are telling something else. What do you mean? Vivekananda says beautifully, that teaching for that old man, this is for that young man who needs what kind of teaching. That is given to him. For you, press my feet. Before entering into the great truths of an enlightened masters, we should analyze to whom it is given, what was the ulterior motive, purpose. Then we should enter into the teachings. Only then we will be able to understand, assimilate and practice the truth in its purest form. Here, the teachings are given only to liberate you, give you enlightenment. That is the goal, achieving ultimate level of consciousness, experiencing the greatest truth. But if you see the beauty of these teachings, see, this whole philosophy of Mahavira looks life negative, but all the followers of Mahavira live with such richness. We should enter into the paradox. We should analyze how this happens. Here, Mahavira is not giving any management techniques. He is not management guru. In the modern day, all our philosophies are, the teachings are used in for management, or there are so many management books which came based on the Vedic tradition. Even the so-called masters in the modern day, they all became management gurus only. But Mahavira is not a management guru. He is not giving you any solutions related to the outer world. But the very teachings, when you follow, the expansion of the inner space which happens, as a side effect of that expansion, byproduct of that expansion, wealth accumulates around you. Understand? If I say Mahavir is the ultimate management guru, not only for the inner world, even for the outer world, he never speaks about how to create or manage the wealth. All he does, he creates a beautiful inner space in which you can accommodate many things. He is not talking about Karma Yoga. If he talks about Karma Yoga, you can use those words and make him as a management guru. The other day I was reading an article in Wall Street Journal. The Gita is taking a big shape. Gita is getting an important place in many corporate companies of US. They are using for management. Mahavir is not talking anything about Karma Yoga. You can easily use teachings related to Karma Yoga for management. He is not talking anything. He simply does something in your consciousness. You become a leader. He is not telling that you should become a leader. He just makes you a leader. He creates a beautiful inner space. One important thing you should understand. When your inner space is expanded, when you are living with inner richness, outer richness follows you. Not only follows you, it becomes your servant. Let us enter into the words of Mahavira. We will understand how he does this great thing through his unique teachings and techniques. So, before entering into the sutras, let's all remember the great master Mahavira and all other Tirthankars, all other great masters, by repeating this mantra. If you all know this mantra, you can repeat. Otherwise, at least remember all the great masters, all the Tirthankars, all the sadhus, all the siddhas, all the acharyas who preserved the science of enlightenment, who protected the science of enlightenment. And let us offer our humble respects to them before entering into their teachings. Let us pray to them. Let them give us intelligence. Let them bless us to realize the truths of their teachings, to experience the truths of what they are teaching to us, to experience what they really want us to learn, what they really want us to do, how they want us to be. Let us pray to them. Namo Arhantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamakaro Savapavapanasano, Mangalanam cha savesim, Padamam havaihi mangalam. Let us first understand this mantra. It's such a wonderful mantra. I'll tell the translation. I'll read the translation. Then we will try to understand this mantra. I bow in reverence to Arhantas, means the people who have conquered the enemies. Enemy does not mean the outer world enemy, the inner world enemies. I bow in reverence to Siddhas, means all liberated souls. I bow in reverence to Acharyas. I bow in reverence to Ubadhyayas. I bow in reverence to all sadhus. This fivefold salutation destroys all sins, and amongst all auspicious things, this is the most auspicious one. Mangalanancha Savesim. Padamam Havai Mangalam. This mantra is an amazing mantra. Understand? An important truth. Arhant does not mean person who teaches. No. Person who inspires. You can't reproduce enlightenment by teaching. No. If you can, long before we would have started selling. We would have created stores. www.enlightenment.com. Please visit our website to get enlightened. And we would have created enlightenment guaranteed shop. No. Fortunately or unfortunately, you can't create enlightenment in some being by teaching. No. Only by inspiring you can create enlightenment. You can reproduce enlightenment only by inspiring. Arhanta is a person who is radiating the truth so powerfully, so strong. His presence is so intense. Anybody who comes near him, even if they spend few minutes around him, they are inspired. The fire is ignited. The transmission of lamp happens. They feel this is the best state to live in. This is the best space to exist. This is the best thing which can happen to me in my life. Understand? If you go near an enlightened being, even if you have spent 2-3 minutes, suddenly you will feel this is the best thing which can happen to me. If you had that thought in you, only then he is enlightened. Otherwise, be very clear, something is seriously wrong with his enlightenment. If he cannot radiate, if he cannot create that inspiration in you, forget about him. There is something seriously wrong in his enlightenment. Arhanta is a person not only who became enlightened, who radiates it. Just his very presence, you will feel God. He will become fantasy in you. He will inspire you so much. He will occupy your inner space so much. Either you start working towards achieving that state, or you feel, I am not able to. Even if you feel, I am not able to, that's okay. At least you have put the first step. You have started. Understand? Respect towards an enlightened being is the first step towards enlightenment. Means you wanted that state. You will not respect anything unless you agree with that ideology. Unless you have a little bit of attachment, feeling towards that ideology, a subtle feeling that you should also have that same. Unless you get that, you will not have respect for that. If you are respecting somebody beautiful, handsome, be very clear, you have a subtle desire to be in that state, to have that quality. Same way, if you respect a rich guy, there is a subtle desire to have wealth. Anything you respect automatically enters in your inner space. When you say, I bow in reverence to enlightened being, you give respect to enlightenment. Here, you are not bowing down to somebody who will help you when you are in fear. No. You are not bowing down to a king. No. You are not bowing down to a rich guy who will give you money. No. You are not bowing down to a person who will give you logic or philosophy, words. No. No. You are bowing down to a person who inspires, puts the seed of enlightenment in you. A small incident which happened in Nisargadatta Maharaj, a great enlightened being who lived in India. Somebody asked him, Master, you say the enlightened beings don't have karma. Then how you are speaking with us? How you are able to talk? Nisargadatta Maharaj says, I am not talking to you. He is talking and he is saying, I am not talking to you. The disciple was completely confused. He said, what are you saying? I am not talking to you. And you are talking to me. And you are saying, I am not talking to you. The Master says, Maharaj says, because you want, you are getting the answers from this system. This system is programmed to respond like a voicemail. Automatic intelligence which responds to you. That's all. Otherwise, the system itself does not have an ego like you. Understand? You can't say automatic replying machine is living mechanism. No. It just responds to you because you wanted somebody to respond. Maharaj says, I am responding to you because this is the way you wanted. And he says beautifully, if somebody approaches me with the attitude of Dasabhava, means servant, I look like a leader. If somebody approaches me with the attitude of a disciple, I look like a master. If somebody approaches me with the attitude of father and son, I look like a father. So, whatever attitude they have, just I reflect it. I just fulfill what they want. Otherwise, I myself don't have any identity or ego. He says, I am not talking to you. You are listening the answers which you want to listen, which you need to listen. That's all. Automatic replying system. Understand? So even Mahavir leaves the body. He has to make himself available to all of us till we become enlightened, till we achieve enlightenment. He has to make himself available. The moment you remember these great masters, you will see their presence is there in front of you. And next line, I bow in reverence to Siddhas, means the liberated souls. The word Namo, you should understand that word also. Namo means you offer I and mine, ahankar and mamakar. Na mama, ahankar and mamakar, you offer both, me and mine, I and mine. See, important thing, it is very easy to offer mine, means wealth. You can very easily give wealth, check. Because after some time, all rich guys feels the futility of wealth. What will you do? What will you do? Now you can buy anything which money can buy. After all these basic things, what will you do with the money? Maybe more and more zeros are getting added in your bank balance sheet. And in this country you don't even see the currency. Only 2% is in the printed currency form. Only the passbook or the bank balance, more and more zeros are getting increased. And for that zeros you give your whole life and you are constantly running. And finally, the person who is making you run, only those leaders' egos are expanding and you don't even know what are you going to do. And suddenly you will leave all the zeros one day and become zero. And after some time, all rich people feel the futility of wealth. What to do? It's okay. It is very easy to give money. I have seen all rich guys erecting temples in every city. Why? They understood there is no value. There is no value. Money is valuable only till you achieve all your basic needs. That is why people are kept in poverty without giving them the feeling that they have all the basic needs. They have enough wealth to take care of all the beings who are already on the planet Earth. We can give them food, we can give them clothes, we can give them shelter, we can give them medical care, all the basic care we can provide. It's a cunning strategy created by the so-called leaders to keep common man in poverty without fulfilling his basic needs, so that he will run, work and create more and more infrastructures, and these guys' ego can be fulfilled. Understand? We have everything. A right strategy is all we need. Right planning is all we need. And we have enough intelligence. And first time we are facing a situation where so much of intelligence is available and so much of technology and science has done miracles. We have everything and we can take care of the whole society. All the basic needs can be taken care. It's not big thing. Rich guy knows money is valuable only for a common man who has not achieved fulfillment in his basic needs. Giving the mind is not a big thing, very easy. But giving I is the real thing. Giving I is the real thing. If you give I, you become God in the temple. If you give mind, you become a person who build temples. That's all. Mahavir became Mahavir because he gave I. He gave away the I. He dropped the ego. He has gone beyond the ego. He has gone beyond the I and mine. Understand? Do you want to be a donor or do you want to be a person who is sitting inside the temple? You want to become a worshipper or the person who receives the worship? The moment you give away the I, you become a person who receives the worship. If you are giving away only the mind, you are worshipper. Person who gives up I and mind both, he becomes the Arhanta. Now, when you give away your I and mind to the Arhantas, you achieve the same state in which they are living.